Hello, hello to all my lovely listeners and viewers. It is episode 2 of the Forbes Agency podcast.
Yeah.
Claps. I am so excited. I know that I'm always excited anytime that I'm creating or working with creatives, but I truly mean from the bottom of my heart, so excited for this episode. Jennifer has been a friend, supporter, business partner, client, so many things over the years with the Forbes Agency. And she is our guest on the second episode.
Yay!
Hello, Jen.
Babes, I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me and taking me in consideration for this. I'm so proud of you and I love you. So.
Don't make me cry, girl. We just started.
Makeup
I love
girl,
you too.
I love you, baby.
I'm gonna give an intro about Jennifer so you guys know a little bit more about who she is. Jennifer Bolanos is a master photographer, creative, and the founder of Royal Rouge Photography, which specializes in weddings and quinceañeras. She moved to the U.S. in 2006 with her family from Guatemala and went on to graduate from Louisiana State University with a bachelor's in business administration. She is happily married to her partner in crime, Dario. Shout out to Dario because he's so sweet. She has now been in the industry for over 10 years with hundreds of happy clients and businesses on her resume. Throughout the years, Royal Rouge Photography has won several awards, including Best Creative Image by International Photography Awards, also a few local contests, and was named this year's Best Visual Artist from Best of 225 magazine in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Everyone, Jennifer.
Hey, thank you for that.
Yes, very great. So for my ADHDers out there like myself, I'm just gonna give you guys a guideline of what it is we're talking about and the questions that we'll be answering today. So obviously, because Jennifer is a photographer, this episode is for all the photographers out there or aspiring photographers, and we're gonna be talking about creating a chemistry and a safe space for models and or whoever your shooting subject is. And the 3 questions that we're going to be answering are, number 1, why chemistry and safe spaces matter during a shoot or photography session. The second question is how to create a safe space and how to build chemistry for a better end result. And number 3, why the experience, and when I say experience, I mean the shoot itself, why the experience is just as important as the end product. And we're gonna get right into it. Hey Jen,
Hey,
are
baby.
you excited to talk about photography?
So excited, girl, yes.
I know that you are so booked. I know you do weddings, so I feel like whenever we're trying to book stuff, I'm like, okay, these are my days, and you're like, okay, I'm booked, but I can squeeze in this time.
Oh yes, it's so hard right now actually because it's wedding season. And we not only do weddings, but we also do ads for, commercial ads for businesses. Also just family portraits, graduations. We just finished with graduations back in May. And we do quinceañeras. I'm Hispanic, I'm from Guatemala. And so that's, the good thing to have for my people, somebody that speaks the language, knows the culture, all of it. So it's a busy season right now, so but I love it. I love what I do. I put my 110%, 200%, with my husband alone. We do both photo and video. So
I think there's no better person than to talk about creating chemistry in a safe space, because you have, just even talking, obviously I can hear your passion, but from a friend and a business partner, working with you over the years, you've always been busy. You've always kept your clientele. So who better to talk about creating chemistry in safe spaces, because you have built such a successful, with your team and your husband, you guys have built such a successful thing. And you obviously know how to create that chemistry and make people feel comfortable. So yeah, we'll jump into it. And if you're listening out there, I think from a model perspective and someone who owns an agency, when people are signing on to an agency, they want professional resources, they want professional knowledge. So that's a responsibility that I have as an agent. And a businesswoman to make sure that if I'm sending them on any type of booking or they are simply portfolio building, that it's not going to be an uncomfortable situation,
Right.
Or they'll be able to solely focus on modeling and creating.
Very important.
So yes, if you're listening to this and you want to shoot models or you want to be a photographer, I think this is such a foundational piece of advice for you, and something that will ensure that your business will have longevity.
Right.
And the question, why chemistry and safe spaces matter. So tell us, in your words, why you think building chemistry and having a safe space matters when you're shooting.
Okay. I mean, it's just like having a friendship. You're not just going to, like choose anybody to be friends with. You have to obviously click with that person. And I feel like it relates with photography. Whenever somebody is booking us, they don't know us. They might have seen our work, online, our portfolio, whatever. But it is very important for us that their experience is like as good as the quality and the product, For me, I mean, I don't like a camera to be in my face, like, what do I do? Like, I'm always behind the camera. But I know how uncomfortable that can be for people, just like,
right.
We are never like always with a camera here, especially with all that equipment that we use. So it is very intimidating already, So for us, it's like very important that they feel comfortable, that they know that we are not expecting them to know like, how to model,
Every
how
single
to pose.
thing.
Yeah, a model is different, they know a little bit more, but just as a regular client, they need to feel comfortable. Also for the models too, because you're working with so many photographers, that warmth to me, especially being from like my country and like, I ended up here in Louisiana. I love it.
Yes.
People are so warm and like welcoming.
That's
and like
Southern
just like
hospitality, baby.
Yeah, so it's very important, for me to make them feel like family, like friends. We're cool. We're not here to like judge. None of that, So that's very important for us too.
Absolutely. It's so important. And whether or not, like you said, you're shooting models, aspiring models, this is important for you. Obviously, your more advanced models and experienced models, they know, and I try to, in the agency, give the knowledge to know what's a red flag. If you're not contacting me about a photographer or, things to look for.
Right.
And not to say that every red flag is like, illegal or horrible, but just in the terms of making people feel comfortable and making the experience a fun one. Because like you said, even me, I'm 32 and I've modeled, done hundreds of photo shoots, but sometimes it is a little intimidating still getting in front of the camera because you're like, you see the lens and you're like, and even for me, I've done probably over 100-something photo shoots.
Right.
I'm in my 30s now, and when I get in front of the lens, sometimes I'm like, whoa,
like, oh my God,
what am I doing? Yeah, so
it's a lot. It's a lot.
It is.
It's
so
easy.
For photographers, building that chemistry, I like to think of it as it's like we're all doing this dance together. You have the photographer, you have the subject. And then if you're doing portfolio, you might have a stylist, you might have makeup artists, but it's a team and we want to build that chemistry. And I don't want people to be listening to this, photographers that may be new and they might get nervous and they're like, well,
no,
I don't know how to build that chemistry, but it happens with time. And as long as you are nice and respectful and you do your best and you try to ask questions to get to know the model, or the person that you're shooting, you'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, we all started there. We didn't know how to deal with people, and dealing with people is a whole different world, not just like knowing the camera settings and all of that, but also like that customer service. And it's very intimidating for us because sometimes the person that we're shooting, it might be too cold and you are too warm. It has happened to me. I'm very like, oh, lovey-dovey, and then my subject is like more serious. And so you have to know how to learn how to, read the person or who you're shooting And with that, information, you'll know how to react, like, so they don't feel uncomfortable. Because if you're too much, it might make them feel uncomfortable as well. So it just takes practice, just like anything else, basically.
Reading the energy is important, like seeing when to. Some people, they might be more comfortable when you talk less. They might be more comfortable when you're like,
too much.
I know with weddings or maybe like engagement photos, sometimes it's like the husband is like, I'm just here.
You're welcome that I'm showing up, basically.
Exactly. It's fine. All the men out there that don't want to take pictures for your wives, we appreciate you. You are appreciated.
Yes.
So our second question, and this kind of wraps into the third, how to create a safe space and build chemistry for a better end result. So for me, I think, like I said earlier, one simple step is asking the model questions or the subject questions about themselves. So have you ever done a photo shoot before? Are you nervous? Giving people that reassurance that they need to know, like, hey, it's okay, because as a creative business owner, whether it's photography for weddings or modeling or whatever, you are the leader. So you're setting the tone. So if you are showing up being confident in your business with a good attitude and trying to gauge and show that you care who you're shooting, it will show and it will be a better experience. I got to pick up my paper, guys, because I need to see that other question. If you're listening, you don't know what's going on. But if you're watching this,
and I mean, like you said, it's very important to set the tone. That is key, because, it's like you're like transferring that energy to them. They can tell whether you're like, done with it, and like you're already like feeling uncomfortable, whatever. Like, for example, like we do a lot of shoots, and there's times where I'm like extremely exhausted, and like I haven't slept, I haven't stopped, But sometimes you just have to suck it up and like just, for the love of that person and respect, that they're like, spending that money or that time, it's just, like it's so important for them to know that whether you're like super tired or whatever, you are still 100% in that, not like making them feel less like, oh, they're just here because,
And I think you do a good job, like I said, when we try to schedule stuff, if you're not available, you don't override your own boundaries. Having your own time boundaries as a creative is so important, because when you are depleted and you can't show up,
It'll show.
Yeah, and
it'll
you're
show.
not
Eventually, it will show.
Reputation. You're not shooting. It could be one person, but this person could be the person who has a cousin who gets you the biggest gig of your life, or you never know what happens. So I think, and obviously we can't be perfect, but from my experience, I've learned by trial and error, setting proper boundaries and being able to say, I know that I can't do a full shoot day for 12 hours. So that way I can show up and be able to do what I need to do as far as creative direction, but that can still bleed into photography as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
So our last question, why the experience? Well, you kind of answered it already. You're so good at this.
Kind of like just wraps all around it. Like at the end of the day, it's like just having the client feel good, or try to. And then, because the final product, it will show. If they're not comfortable, you will have, in my case, photography, the photos are just going to show it. They're not comfortable. They're not, enjoying this. They're feeling some type of way. And that is like, the final product that we need to achieve, the as much as,
possible.
Possible. So
that's the portfolio piece, the final product. And I try to make sure that the models in the agency understand on their end as well. For you, you shot our models and you still do. So it's, what I'm saying. For certain projects, obviously, you're just in the role of photographer where you're taking on trying to like set the tone. But I think for models, you're bringing that confidence and you're also bringing the energy so that the photographer can feed off of that energy, and then it becomes a creative space where you guys are just inspired.
Yes, it's so inspiring. It will like generate that creativity, because that's where it comes from. Once you're having such a good time, and then like just the vibe
you're in that flow state. You're just like in the zone.
Oh my gosh, like I'm just like, oh yeah. It's very important. So
these are some great tips, and I could talk to you literally for hours, Jen, because it's there's so many layers. I think, you know, photography, there's so many layers to it, but I really hope that whoever is listening to this, even if you are an experienced photographer, maybe you picked up something that you knew, but it was just like a refresher for you. And those people that are wanting to start out and wanting to shoot models or wanting to shoot and have the success like someone like Jennifer and Royal Rouge, make sure you keep in mind how important it is to create a safe space, because when we can create safe spaces and when people feel safe, the inspiration, it's just magic. It skyrockets.
It might sound cliche, but it's magical, because I've met the most amazing people with my career, and like once you like click with your clients, it is the best thing. You know, I've created friendships with them, so it's just amazing. I love it.
Absolutely.
Don't be scared of, you know, to just jump and like, you know, put your style, your own self, and just enjoy it. That's the main thing, enjoying it. I love it.
Yes, love what you do. Well, thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
You guys can find her. Let us know your Instagram.
At Royal Rouge Photography, and you can find us on TikTok as well, same Royal Rouge Photography, and Facebook.
Well, we will be back. Thank you again.
Thank you, baby.
Thank you guys for listening. We did episode 2.
Yay!
I love you so much.
I love you so much, baby. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so proud of you.
See you guys next time.